Hey wrestling fans, don't forget if you enjoyed this week's episode, want to hear the full conversation, you need to become a paid member of the FTW community. We release about 20 minutes of additional bonus content for paid FTW community members just about every week. Last week we talked about Samoa Joe's future, and this week we're going to talk about the whole Bill Demott saga, what it means for NXT, if there's any way that this affects NXT. Hope not. But we're going to find out. We're going to talk about it. Also, we talk about Daniel Bryan's involvement in the whole Intercontinental Championship saga. Is it possible that we might see Bryan fighting for the IC? And does that diminish him as well as the IC? But anyways, this bonus content, it's our way of saying thanks to those who went to fanstalkwrestling.com, clicked the big green button, and pledged $5 a month or more. Even if you can't afford $5, pledge at least $1 a month and you'll receive this episode on Tuesday night as soon as I get done editing, rather than having to wait until Wednesday morning. And you'll also help us reach our next milestone. That next milestone celebration will be a lot of fun as we'll sit down together in person to record a live commentary track for the Flintstones and WWE movie Stone Age SmackDown. That will be released to everyone, and really probably the most excited that we've been about watching a WWE released movie ever. So every little bit will keep this conversation going every single week. And speaking of conversation, right now it is time for FTW.
Beard.
This is Fans Talk Wrestling. It's a weekly conversation where fans talk the wrestling world in all of its laughable glory. This is episode 256, which was recorded live on March 3rd, 2015, right around 8 p.m. on FTWLive.com. If you're listening live, say hi and leave your comments here on FTWLive.com. If you're listening on demand, you can reach out to us and let us know what you thought. This episode was brought to you by the supporters, by the support of listeners just like you. I'm like wrecking this entire intro. Here we go. Let's continue. My name is Garvin, and with us is Joe. Say hello, Joe.
What is up, my bitches?
We're also here with Nick. Say hello.
Well, you just done gone and fucked that up.
Yeah. Forget about it. On this week's episode, we're going to talk the Brock Lesnar Experiment, plus Give Divas a Chance, or storyline, of course, and Samoa Joe in WWE. Is it going to happen? That's what the rumors say, so we'll talk about it. All that and the week that was in WWE, but let's just jump right into the conversation, guys. The Brock Lesnar Experiment. So, Lostastic on G+, he posted, has Brock Lesnar's limited status in WWE killed the momentum going into WrestleMania? So overall, looking at the landscape, we are now at least 6 months since Brock Lesnar won the title, right? No, almost a year, because he won it right after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So we're at least 6 months, maybe closer to 8-10 months that Brock Lesnar has been your champion. There was the fear that him holding the title, but not being on TV every week was going to hurt not only the credibility of the title, the importance of the title, but also the general storylines that surround it. So overall, now that we've had a chance to experience it, do you think that his reign as champion has been good?
I think so. Just given the fact that Lesnar hasn't had to be present for most of it. And I think that's only possible because Heyman's representing him. And Heyman's done a lot of the heavy lifting in making this title reign legitimate. If not for him, no, I don't think this would have held water at all.
See, I think he, for what they did a good job. They seem to give Lesnar enough outs. Like, for example, the reason he wasn't in Fastlane, they said he had a rib injury. I don't know if he actually did, but it was enough that they could not have him on TV, and there was a legitimate reason. I mean, granted, there are times I'm just sitting there going, why do they not have Lesnar on TV? Why couldn't they have booked him for more shows? they could use him more. But Heyman was the one who helped carry between the points. Had we not had Heyman, it would have flopped. Do I like it better than their year-long Rock storylines? So much more. Because you'd get the Rock saying, I mean, at least Lesnar never said, "This is my home, I'm never leaving," and then not show up for 6 weeks.
Yeah. Right.
So, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy with it.
Just to clarify, Brock Lesnar won the title on August 17th, 2014. So he's held the title for just under 200 days as of this recording. So yeah, overall, I don't know. I still have differing opinions on it. I like Brock Lesnar as champion. I think that it has opened the door for other guys to get the spotlight, that the spotlight didn't necessarily have to be on Lesnar as champion the entire time. It was, where, it was about building the next contenders. So building up Roman Reigns this time around, I think that was the major story. So now that we have Reigns and we know Reigns is going to face Lesnar, the focus has been about, can Reigns defeat Lesnar? So I think overall, because they've been able to focus on the build and the, building new contenders, I think that has helped. At the same time, we weren't always getting that. You had Cena going in there for a while, which didn't necessarily, I don't know. I really wasn't excited about Cena versus Lesnar. The first time, when it happened, I was not looking forward to the match. I didn't think it was going to be a good match, just because I didn't want to see Cena in that spot. But Cena getting destroyed by Lesnar, that was beautiful. So, I think it could have helped to have Lesnar on commentary, or maybe, not him on commentary specifically, but him sitting next to Paul Heyman, who's on commentary. I think having that kind of interaction, so he's there, but he's not actively wrestling, I think that would have helped a lot more. At least keep him somewhat in focus.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
But failed experiment, I don't know if I can say it was a failed experiment. I think there was a lot of benefits that came out of it. And again, Lesnar has never looked weak. He's always looked strong. The matches that he has had have always felt so much more important. I think if he was on TV every week, we wouldn't have felt that way. It's okay. Overall, are you happy with the title matches that Lesnar has had?
Yeah, I think so. I would think the smiting of Cena, the first match they had, was pretty awesome. The second one with the overbooked finish, not so much, but it was all right. This latest match, the triple threat, loved it. It was a fantastic match. So, I mean, I've been happy. I've been happy overall.
Yeah, I can't say there's been a Lesnar match that I haven't enjoyed to some degree or another. And yeah, that triple threat match was simply wonderful. That was a great match. I think, especially on Rollins' part, the way he stepped up that way.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with you guys. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. The live chat, man. The live chat is not as happy, or at least accepting of what has happened thus far with Brock Lesnar and everything. So, Deuce Loosely says, the title is only worth as much as the paper that the statistics are written on. 3 title defenses in over 200 days is ridiculous. Beanbags chimed in as well. He said, titles are just a prop to push storyline. It doesn't mean anything. Do you guys feel the same way that because it hasn't been defended, more than 3 times in 200 days, that it's almost worthless at this point?
No, I don't think it's worthless. I think that, you want to see it defended. I mean, everybody wants to see the titles defended, but I think they've been working on telling other stories that where the title just doesn't need to be involved. I mean, we saw a lot of that back in the 80s. How many good storylines did we have, or at least interesting story? Well, how many storylines did they do in the 80s where there was not even a title to be considered? They only had the 2 titles. Well, 3 if you count the tag team titles, but I don't think it needs to be. I don't think they necessarily need to have the titles involved to tell the stories they want to tell, especially when the champion can't be around.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that general premise that the title itself is not as important as the general storyline surrounding it. On the other hand, I do agree with Joe's point that, yeah, the title is not worthless at this point. In fact, Lesnar being away with the title has added to the mystique a bit, since he's the one that is the one, but that whole 21-1 shtick. Yeah, him being away the way he has been, that's made him look untouchable. Like, nobody's worthy of fighting him after he slapped Cena around so many times. So, yeah, I don't feel that way. I don't think this has been worthless. I think, yeah, maybe they could have done things better, but on the whole, what we got out of it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I feel like this is much more realistic. You know, to have a guy not wrestle every night and then a title match. I think this does make the title feel more important because, you know, that was one of the complaints before this all was taking place, was just the idea that Cena's wrestling every night and then is also defending the title at the pay-per-view. Like, it was just too much Cena, too much of whoever the champion was at the time, Randy Orton or whatever, because you know, it was just the focus was always on them, and this experiment has been good. I feel like this experiment has been good in the sense that, you know, it has allowed them to stray away from that. And, you know, if this sticks after Brock leaves, you know, I guess we'll come to find out. I mean, they have been teasing that Cena won't be at WrestleMania and Cena won't be on TV as much, so maybe this is a way that they'll be able to put a guy, you know, put the title on a guy and not feel the need to have him on every single episode. Because the thing is, I mean, you look at Brock, and Brock could get the same reaction every single night that he gets at that one pay-per-view every other month. So for them to not have him on every single week, I think sort of hurts them. But at the same time, I just don't know. To me, I'm okay with it. But let's talk about the Roman Reigns build real quick, because that's being talked about in the live chat, and we'll spend a little bit more time on it when we talk about WrestleMania tonight. But overall, you know, like I said before, with the way that we've gone from the Royal Rumble to now, without having Brock Lesnar on TV every single week, we have been able to get a solid story with Roman Reigns. Do you think that if Brock was on TV every week, we would be able to even get a contender built in a solid way like they're building Reigns right now?
You could, but not the same way that they have. Not if you're going to have Reigns face him. With somebody established like Daniel Bryan, maybe you would need Lesnar around more often to build that feud. But Reigns facing Lesnar isn't so much about Reigns against Lesnar. It's about Reigns being worthy of holding that belt, of being considered the top guy. And they've done a lot to build him up to that status, especially in the last month or so. They tried to make Reigns look credible. Nobody took him seriously for the longest time because he was stuck with the suffer and succotash shtick that they were trying to make him Samoa Cena when that's not part of his appeal at all. Reigns is a badass. You need to make him a badass. He needs to be a badass in order to face Lesnar. And they finally gotten on track in building him up that way.
Yeah. Nick's, I'm going to pull a Rob here. Nick said everything right. What they did, no, I'm not going to completely pull a Rob. I'm not going to re-explain everything. Sorry, Rob. Love you. No, I like what they've been doing with Reigns. I like the build they've been giving him as of recently. Because Nick, you're right. They are building him just to be a strong guy. They don't need him to talk on the mic. They really don't. I know they've been doing that. They've dropped the suffer and succotash thing because that was terrible. I mean, right now it's just like he's like, I'm going to prove myself and suck it. Here I come, and he just does it in the ring. Some of the moves that we saw on Raw just really showed that the power that they want him to have. And if they would have had like the spear onto Rollins out of the air, beautiful move. But I think that if they had Brock on TV, one, after a while it'd be like, okay, it's fucking like when Brock was full time, way back when in the early 2000s, we did get tired of Brock. So it's good that we haven't gotten tired of Brock. We don't see him destroying everybody every week like he used to. Right. Because then once you start making him weak, you find a weak point, then it's all over. You can't get that beast back. And now that they've brought him back, he's still that beast, but it's different. We're only getting it in small segments. So every time he comes, he destroys. So it makes him look bigger and stronger. And it's given us time to build the brains to make him a believable competitor to this beast.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll spend a little bit more time on Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns when we talk about WrestleMania coming up. But right now, let's dive into something that we don't always do, or actually we really don't ever do, and that is talk about some rumors that have been going on lately, specifically about what is happening with Brock Lesnar's contract. It seems like there's a new story out every day as far as whether or not Brock is going to re-sign with WWE or whether he's going to sign with UFC. Obviously, he was shown at UFC at the last UFC 184 event. I think there's some photos taken of him talking with Dana White. So obviously that is also driving a lot of those stories. So overall,
that is rumor that has absolutely no substance. No.
What do you take from this? Do you think that Brock Lesnar would make the jump back to UFC from WWE?
I think he would, but I mean, and do I think he got pissed at Vince? Because everyone has heard the rumor, and if you haven't, here it is, that Brock Lesnar left Raw in a huff, and may not show up to WrestleMania at all. That's the basic rumor that's going around. There's been embellishments on various parts. But if he was there, if he left in a huff because he wants to go to the UFC to talk to Dana White and Vince is like, fuck you. Well, okay. But Undertaker has been at UFC and there hasn't been a problem. Maybe Lesnar's just like, hey, I really like MMA, even though I'm not doing it right now. I really want to go see it.
Well, except for he's not saying that.
Right. Well, he hasn't said shit.
Yeah, right.
But
he's never going to say anything.
Well, but the Undertaker never said, I like MMA. He just kind of showed up one day and was like, hey, that's weird.
Right. And Lesnar showed up there and he saw his former employer and he was like, hey, you always see the photos. We don't know what they said. It could have been like, hey, how are things going? It's really good to see you again. Hey, you ever thought about coming back? I don't know. I got the WWE gig going on right now. So,
Yeah, I'm getting paid millions to basically sit at home except for like maybe 10 days a year.
Yeah, so... Oh, really? Because UFC, we can make you kick somebody's ass for about the same amount of money, and you have to do a lot of work. And how's that articulitis doing? Is that flaring up for you? Oh, I don't know. I mean, it could have just really been a casual conversation.
Could have been, yeah.
Could have. I mean, could it have been him angling for a return? It could have been. We weren't there. We don't know. Let's find out who was in the photo, like standing near them, and see what they heard. Let's ask them. I mean, will the Brock Lesnar guy all of a sudden just be showing up at UFC fights and stuff? I don't know.
That'd be epic. Nick, what's your thoughts about this whole thing? Do you think that there's some truth in these rumors that Brock Lesnar would go back to UFC?
I think there's some legitimacy behind them. We've been hearing a lot about him eventually going back at some point, and now that he's apparently healthy, now that the diverticulitis is seemingly no longer an issue, I don't see why he couldn't get a couple more years or a few more years out of another UFC run. I don't see that happening. I definitely don't see that happening while he's in WWE, because Vince is a crazy person and he's just super convinced that, somebody's going to die in there. Never mind the fact that nobody's died in a UFC cage yet, but a WWE ring, that's another story. I don't know where all the rumors are coming from, aside from just rampant speculation. which, thanks, Dave Meltzer. I think there's a little bit of basis in fact as far as Lesnar's desires, but as far as what's actually going to happen, I don't think there's just much truth to them. Heyman seemed pretty adamant about what was happening with Lesnar in that promo. And yeah, you could say kayfabe and all that.
Yeah,
but
right.
As hot as he was, as legitimately upset as he was with a technical situation, I don't think all of that was just a work.
Sure. No, I think this is going to be the yearly conversation, Lesnar's contract is up. Is he going to return to UFC? And last time the contract was up, he didn't. He came back to WWE. I think this time, there is some truth in at least the idea that Lesnar is in fighting shape now. Like this time last year, I don't think Lesnar was in as good of a shape as he is now. Like he's a lot slimmer. He's a lot, he's built more, a lot more tone. So I think right now, this is the Lesnar that you could see in a UFC match. So, take it for what you will. But I think as long as Lesnar's only signing 1-year terms in his contract, we're going to continue having this conversation until he makes a decision. Kind of like the Sting versus Undertaker rumors that we had to deal with every single year because Sting only signed a 1-year deal with TNA.
Yep.
So, all right, here's another rumor. Here's another rumor that got thrown out, and that was the idea.
Hit me.
What?
Hit me with another rumor.
Oh, here's another rumor for you.
I got a brand new bag.
Brock Lesnar actually wants to pull a Bobby Lashley and fight in both WWE and UFC at the same time. What do you think about that idea? Not necessarily the logistics and whether or not Vince and Dana White would play well together, but just the idea of having a WWE wrestler or champion also in the UFC fighting. What do you think about that?
I think it could work. It'd be one hell of a promotion, especially if he hadn't been in UFC before. Now I'm not really sure. I think how bad though would it hurt? Either title. Let's say he goes back to UFC and he wins the title. So he's holding both. That looks great. Until WWE decides to do something like, hey, Zack Ryder beat Brock Lesnar for the title. Or Hornswoggle beat Brock Lesnar. Not that they would ever do that, but how does that hurt the UFC title? You know what I'm saying? There could be an issue there. That's removing Vince and Dana White from any type of equation.
Right. And you're also battling schedules because while Brock is training for his UFC fight, he wouldn't be actively competing in a WWE match, especially with Brock Lesnar's style, just his style and his method in the ring. That's a lot of work to put your body through, in one night that could totally throw off your fighting training schedule.
And what happens if Lesnar gets a little confused and starts doing WWE punches in the octagon? Or, would he ever pick somebody up and try and give him an F5 in the octagon?
That would be pretty cool.
I would actually love to see that one.
Or vice versa, when he accidentally murders somebody in the ring.
Oh, let him face Cena.
The other issue I have with this rumor is just the risk, not just the schedules overlapping, but you also have the injury risk. So UFC, no punches are pulled. Brock could seriously get hurt. And how does that affect him in WWE? If they move forward with something like this and they have him in this top storyline still and he's your champion, but there's no way that he can compete. What do you do at that point? Can you bring up UFC in your storyline as reasoning for him to be, removed, like to have him vacate the title? I don't know. There's just a lot of risk involved there. And same thing from the WWE side. He could run too fast against the ropes and almost fall out like he did that one, match that he had against Cena. And then what happens then if he gets hurt in a weird accident in a WWE ring? That totally messes him up from being able to compete in UFC. So to me, I don't know. I like the idea of the rumor. We've seen it sort of work for Bobby Lashley, but Lesnar doesn't fight low level talent. And Lashley going after low-level guys in Bellator is nothing, not even comparable to what Brock Lesnar wants to do in UFC. Brock Lesnar wants to be the UFC champion. So I just can't see it. Okay. Here's another rumor for you. Brock Lesnar. There's the idea that he is so upset with how negotiations are going that he is forcing the company to make up a backup plan. What if Brock Lesnar no-shows WrestleMania? Any possibility that Brock Lesnar would skip a payday and threaten himself in a breach of contract lawsuit and skip out WrestleMania just because he's upset with how negotiations are going?
Is it possible? I think so.
I don't see this happening at all. I can't think of an instance where he has done something similar. Had something similar done to him, like with Stone Cold, yeah, but no, I just don't see him walking out on Mania.
I don't know. I could see him doing it, but I don't know. I mean, for some people, it's a principle thing. You know, is it? You know, does he feel that strongly that he's getting fucked over, or that they won't let him do what he feels he should be doing? That to not do it. I mean, how bad would that hurt the WWE? I mean, yes, he'd burn a bridge. He'd burn like the biggest bridge he has, because you know the WWE would take him any day of the week if you just give them the time. But I do think he would probably do it. I mean, how much money does he have saved up from his UFC stuff? I don't know how much he made, but he might be like, you know what, screw it, I've got my money, I'm good.
Yeah, live chat is talking about, you know, just the idea of the threatening of lawsuits. You know, it would, in general, it would hurt Brock Lesnar's credibility to no show, to not fulfill his obligations to compete at WrestleMania. And again, we're assuming that he's contractually obligated to compete at WrestleMania. Maybe he's not. I don't see how he couldn't be, but still, you know, that would hurt his credibility for him to no show, because, you know, that shows that he's a bad business guy. You know, A, he's breaching his contract, and B, he's giving up such a huge payday. Like, that's idiotic. That is a guy that you don't need. You can do without. So yeah, I can't see this rumor being factual at all.
Now, what is the latest rumor about him being so upset that he's walking out? Because the one I heard was he was pissed off about Reigns failing a drug test and then Vince just waving that off, which I think is completely absurd.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
actually,
what
the
would
rumor
Lesnar care about somebody else's test?
Yeah.
Well, the rumor was that that Reigns failed an IQ test, according to kayfabe news, and that's why Lesnar was pissed.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that rumor has been you know, basically destroyed. But it's weird because there are elements from that rumor that have been brought over to this rumor. However, at the same time, I mean, we do know that Brock Lesnar was booked to compete but to show up on Raw to help build his feud with Roman Reigns. So, I mean, we did get that announcement that Brock Lesnar would be at Raw 2 weeks ago. At the same time, card subject to change. How many?
Yeah, let me introduce you to Vince McMahon.
How many times have we heard the stories that the script had been rewritten last minute?
Oh, we always hear that.
Yeah.
But has anyone considered the Sable effect? Has Sable been pushing Brock to do one thing or another? Popped in my head. I mean,
as far as making a choice between WWE and UFC?
Yeah, maybe she's got some like bad blood. She's like, go back to UFC. You looked better back then. I'm not going to put out. And then he's just like, well, horseface, no. But I don't know. It's another factor to consider.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, it is. It is. But I don't see that particular scenario.
Yeah.
happening. Oh, man.
Yay, marriage.
I'm just imagining the horse face comment and the fact that Lesnar lives on a farm. And I don't think that would be negative in his opinion.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, Lesnar probably knows he's got one or two matches left in him as far as UFC style. not necessarily because of like where he is conditionally speaking, but just where he is in his life. You don't want to keep going. You don't need to keep going. You've got all the money you need. You've got this huge house in the middle of nowhere. You could easily just escape and just go there.
It's getting old.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on from Brock Lesnar talk and talk about hashtag GiveDivasAChance. This is something that started last week, because last week on Raw there was the hashtag GiveTruthAChance, and that was pushed by the commentary team, and I don't think was used much at all. It definitely did not trend if it did. But
that totally trended worldwide for a while. Not
as much as Give Divas a Chance.
Oh, hell no.
Okay. So, So overall, Give Divas a Chance took over. I think it was mostly started by fans, but it picked up steam. There was a few wrestlers that backed it, but more importantly, it led to, basically a Twitter fight, maybe, I guess you could say, between Stephanie McMahon and AJ. So, AJ Lee basically called Stephanie out because Stephanie was putting out these pro-women tweets to go along with whatever that hashtag was. User voice or...
Yeah, user voice.
Yeah. Which was in line with some of the things that happened at whatever that award ceremony was, the Grammys or whatever it was. I have no idea. But anyways, it was an award ceremony, and I guess some actors were like, yeah, women should have equal rights and equal pay and all that stuff. And Stephanie publicly supported them on Twitter, and then got called out on it by AJ because, according to AJ and according to a lot of wrestlers that are now speaking out as well, sorry, it was the Oscars. Thank you, Nay. That event. So anyways, they basically called out, Stephanie for, trying to build this public image, but still not doing anything that she has power in as far as WWE to make things better. So, AJ specifically mentioned that, the Divas, have been in the highest rated segments, at times, are also, one of the highest sellers as far as merchandise, but still are not paid the same, wages as males and are still not being given, enough opportunities or the same type of opportunities on TV. So, huge conversation that got opened up because of it, on Twitter with the hashtag Give Divas a Chance. What was your thought on how all that went down? Because this is where things get kind of sketchy now, because right after that, I mean, at the time, AJ had not been on TV for a while. Many people thought that AJ was probably going to leave the WWE. So AJ's first public tweet that had anything to do with wrestling was against Stephanie in this fashion. And then this week on Raw, she shows up. So now there's that conspiracy theory. Was this all just to build a storyline? So what do you guys think?
No, I'm not that cynical. For starters, she said why she's been out. She's had a neck injury, and she was resting that. As far as the response to Stephanie's tweet goes, I don't think that's building to a storyline, or if it is, I don't think that was the initial plan. It just seems like something AJ would do. And the genius thing about it is they can't touch her for it. They can't fire her. They can't discipline her in any way that might leak out. Because if they do, it's not going to be to us, to the fans. It's not going to be because of anything she said. It's going to be because of who she's married to. And I could just imagine Stephanie just grinding her teeth as she read that and then responded, I value your opinion. Thank you for speaking out. And the same with Vince when he said, we hear you. Keep watching. That must have killed him inside just to post that.
Yeah, and I'm looking through because I'm just curious. I mean, supposedly AJ made $320,000 according to the thing that was going around on Reddit. If you're giving Divas a chance, I mean, she's making more than what they say with this list, and I'm not saying this list is correct. Nobody sourced this thing, so this could be completely pulled out of their anuses. But
it
AJ,
absolutely was.
yeah, but I mean, it's a reference point. There you go, Lee, wherever you are. She's making $320,000 a year. Estimated salary. Okay, yeah, it's estimated salary earnings. But I mean, that's probably gross. You look at Xavier Woods, $60,000. Ricardo Rodriguez made 45. It's just. This list is obviously, now that I'm referencing it, is completely unbelievable. I'd only skimmed it previously, but a lot of times, you got to look at these things and look at what they're getting. It's gross. Are they, like Lawler was getting? He didn't seem to be making, just over $100,000 a year, but he also had expenses paid where other people didn't. Anyway, this is going really far off topic. I'm glad I could do that.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem. But now I actually need to make a point. AJ making that tweet, like you said, Nick, they're not going to touch her, but I can't imagine she's on a happy list right now. For calling out Stephanie. I don't think it's a storyline, but I mean, it could be. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't really seen this story be picked up as much as I thought it was going to. So, like, we haven't really seen. Just look at the last major hashtag saga with WWE, where it was cancel WWE Network. That got picked up by pretty much everyone. Just talking about how negative the reaction was. I haven't seen that for this particular story yet. So I don't know. That's why it's hard to tell, like, what is, I don't know, like, what is real as far as, like, what they were trying to accomplish with it. Or, what is really relevant. At the same time, like, we like to say, give Divas a chance, but as long as these types of stories don't get picked up as much as as canceled WWE Network is, I can't really see WWE making a major change right away because the outcry isn't there like it was canceled WWE Network.
The thing is, the result that you would see from this would be a much longer burn than something like cancel WWE Network. With something like canceling your network subscription, that's a pretty instantaneous thing. And that's something that can be immediately felt. With something as ephemeral as give Divas a chance, first of all, what do you mean by chance? We probably wouldn't see any payoff there for a while yet. We might not notice a change in storytelling or booking immediately right off the bat. That might take a while for that to get rolling and go into effect.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, if they make like an instant change, that would be awkward because this is a storytelling business. You have to tell a good story, and just to automatically make a change right off the bat, I think would be odd. But yeah, to see if this develops into a story moving forward, I think that'd be really cool, actually. But
the question is then, what's your end goal? AJ versus Steph?
Potentially. Yeah.
But wouldn't that make more sense to do at WrestleMania? They're not going to build this for a year. They're not going to build this for over a year. Not for a Divas storyline. No offense to the women, but
for a McMahon, I could see that.
They've done.
Do you think AJ's going to resign?
No.
Yeah, that's the problem. You can't start building a storyline on that when you know that person's probably not going to.
When does AJ's contract run out?
That's a good question.
Who knows? I mean, realistically, who
the
knows?
Shadow knows. But I mean, you could do it maybe at SummerSlam if she sticks around through SummerSlam. But why? I guess nobody wants to see Steph back in the ring.
Yeah,
we got Brie versus Steph, so I would be completely okay with AJ versus Steph because it couldn't get any worse than that.
I would say yes. That is a logical endpoint. But as far as where that match occurs, you don't need that at WrestleMania. I mean, there's not enough time, obviously. But the other thing is, there are other big pay-per-views that you can slowly build to, like a SummerSlam. I mean, that's not too far out. So, but there has been seemingly a bigger push for this very pro-woman, verbiage, or at least this type of mentality, or at least, the way Stephanie has talked a lot lately, she constantly like attacks Seth Rollins for interrupting her. Did he interrupt her because she's a woman? You know, you're seeing this idea being pushed out a lot. So I could totally see a slow burn where, you know, yes, right now AJ is calling Stephanie out on Twitter. 3, 4, 5 months down the road, that leads to, you know, the real contradiction being pushed on air and how that story is being told. Maybe the Divas revolt against Stephanie. I think that's a fantastic story. Or maybe that leads to Stephanie versus, you know, Triple H kind of thing where we've got the idea of, you know, the authority splitting up where it's like McMahon versus McMahon again kind of thing. So I think there's definitely opportunities there. But to me right now, it does feel like Give Divas a Chance is a storyline because AJ showed up the next week.
Yeah, we mentioned slow burns as far as this goes. And realistically, we've been on the slow burn well before the hashtag took place because this has been bubbling up since NXT started having those quality women's matches.
Totally.
And I thought it was interesting that Corey Graves actually tweeted out in support of the hashtag. And it kind of blew up in his face because people thought he was pimping out NXT at the expense of the hashtag, at the expense of the quote unquote movement. But his overall point that women are being given a chance. It's in NXT. Even divas that are long established, like Natty, like Alicia Fox, they can get overdone in NXT. They don't have that same freedom on the main roster yet, but the idea is definitely being entertained within the company. So I don't know, maybe this hashtag, this general sentiment among the internet wrestling community might just be another push that's needed for this to actually happen.
Yeah, it was a shame that Corey Graves got caught in that, because he definitely was in support with the overall idea. And he was pointing out that there was an evolution taking place right now in NXT. It just hadn't been pushed up to the main roster yet. So I don't know. I feel for Corey because his intentions were very clear, but you know the internet. So, but yeah, I don't know. This goes well with my fail from last week about all WWE needs to do is give divas more time. You know, the 30-second match, the less than 5-minute match every single week is not allowing them enough time to really tell a story. And if they want to do anything, it's not add another story. So if this hashtag Give Divas a Chance is another story, that's not going to fix things. That's not going to make things any better. You need to give the divas more time in the ring to tell their story like other wrestlers do. So you need some 8-minute matches. You need some 15-minute matches. You need to let them handle themselves like normal wrestlers handle themselves. So I don't know. All right, enough of that. Let's move on. All right. So we did get a question last week. We talked a bit about it on FTW Fallout, for our paid subscribers, but I wanted to spend a little bit more time on it tonight. And also, you know, now we've had a week to kind of stew on some of these thoughts. So if you heard our conversation on FTW Fallout last week, you know where we're coming from a lot of this, but hopefully we can extend upon that. So, the question was, and this again was posted by Diego on Google+. He asked, what do you think could benefit WWE the most right now? A, sign in new young talent to bolster NXT. B, bring in established wrestlers like from TNA. C, restore the brand extension. D, hire new writing and creative staff. Or E, retire Vince McMahon. What would benefit WWE the most right now?
It's obvious that you've got to start from the very foundation, and that's with creative. That's with the writing team. I know retiring Vince McMahon sounds very attractive on the face of it. He's the one in charge. He's the ultimate authority on what goes in the WWE. But you need to think long term with this, because Vince is going to step down eventually, whether it's voluntarily while he's still alive or whether he passes on his deathbed. He's going to be gone eventually. But if you don't have a solid creative team that knows what it's doing, then when Triple H steps up, you're just going to get more of the same. So you need something like what NXT has. You need somebody on the level of a Dusty Rhodes that knows what's going on, knows what to do with the show, knows how to book the show in a way that we like, we enjoy, that we'll pay to see. Without that, there's no point in getting rid of Vince McMahon, because everybody he's trained up to potentially fill that spot thinks exactly the same way he does.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm split between hiring a new writing creative staff and retiring Vince McMahon. I think both points have their merits and also their flaws, because like you said, if you get rid of Vince McMahon, you still have that writing team that's doing the same damn thing they've always done. On the flip side, if you flip out the new writing creative staff, you still got Vince going, "No, damn it, this is incorrect. This is the way it should be. Fuck it, I'm rebooking the whole show the way I want to do it." Which is exactly how the previous writing team would have done. They would have done exactly what Vince McMahon does. If anything, you purge both and you bring up the NXT writers. Give them something to do up on this level. But I think you're right, Nick. I think the writing staff is probably the better thing to get rid of, because if you've got everything going in a different direction than what Vince is used to, either Vince is going to write the whole damn show himself, or he's going to go, fuck, I got to pick something that they've given to me, because I can't come up with anything else. Oh, I'm Batman. Oh. But I think then you only have one point of contention as opposed to all the writing staff. You have multiple people, so you have multiple opinions. I think getting the creative staff flipped would probably be the best. My favorite third spot thing is going to be restore the brand extension. I think they could have done a lot more with that. That had a lot of unlocked potential, or still locked potential. They didn't unlock it. They didn't put in the cheat codes. They didn't get the achievements.
Okay. I'm still envisioning Vince as Batman. I think that was a missed opportunity.
Well, if you watch like that first the remakes of Batman and stuff like that,
right?
You know how Batman's walking around with like the really stiff suit, like he can't turn his head. Yeah. You add that in with Vince's walk. I think that's it. Batman's a millionaire. Vince is a millionaire. I think we found Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, Batman was actually Vince McMahon's life story.
I could see that.
Oh dear.
There's some embellishments to hide the fact, but yeah, he's Batman.
It is very similar if you think about it. So anyways, here's some things from the live chat. Live chat, Deuce saying, get rid of Vince, put someone with a half a lick of common sense in his place and let him replace the creative team and work on the scripting. Beanbags is saying, how do you even know if the writing team is good or not? Because every time that we hear about Raw coming out, there's those stories that things have been rewritten by Vince last minute. So yeah, I mean, just going down this list one more time. We've got sign in new young talent to bolster NXT, bring in established wrestlers like from TNA and ROH, and restore the brand extension. Those are your first three options. The sign in new young talent, that's status quo. You're already doing that. So That's not going to benefit WWE more because it's not benefiting WWE now, if that makes sense. I mean, eventually, soon. Hopefully it will. Bring in established wrestlers. I mean, again, we've already seen that with like Kenta, with you also have Kevin Owens coming over from ROH. So you are seeing it. Again, status quo. Restore the brand extension, I think, is a great idea in that it could give the writing team a lot of new opportunities and a lot of things to focus on. Because right now it just doesn't, like, there's so much time to fill in 3 hours, yet nothing gets the focus it really seems to require. So splitting things up and putting the U.S. Championship and the Tag Team Championship on SmackDown again, and then that's the main focus of those two of that show. I think that would really help things because it would help the wrestlers have enough time to tell their story, but it would also allow the writers some consistency. They know what they're writing from week to week. I don't want to get rid of the writing staff. Because like Beanbag said, how do we even know if they're good or not? Because every time we hear of something negative happening, it's not actually the writing staff that's criticized. It's Vince McMahon taking over or some other, tertiary thing that has influenced it somehow. So, I'm not ready to give the axe to the creative staff as long as, nothing changes above that. Because if Vince McMahon is the guy saying yes or no on those stories, and it's seemingly saying no on a majority of them, like what's a new creative team going to be like? Like how many creative teams have we brought in since the Attitude Era? I gotta imagine hundreds. There's been hundreds of different creative changes since then, and the show has not improved from writing staff to writing staff because it's not up to them what happens. I mean, you've heard that in the documentaries. You've heard that as far as wrestlers doing their shoot interviews, that the writers are giving them, giving the wrestlers ideas, or the wrestlers are giving them ideas. But at the end of the day, it's Vince McMahon making those final decisions, and no one can say else. So yeah, to me, if you want to make a statement today, if you want to better WWE today, it's get rid of Vince McMahon. It's not going to change things automatically, but it at least will remove that one roadblock that we know is the common denominator of things not going well.
So the strategy is replace one roadblock with something identical?
Well, what's that identical roadblock? You're saying Triple H?
Yeah.
Same mentality. I agree. The way they talk, the way they did those interviews, there are very similar ways of thinking and going about things that Triple H does because Vince McMahon does them. That's never going to change. But what does Triple H do differently? He's allowed the writing team and NXT to create a good story. He has stepped out of the way.
Okay, I'll ask you this. What's the big difference between the writing team in NXT and the writing team for the main roster?
Management.
It's where they come from.
Well,
Dusty Rhodes has been in the business for decades.
Sure, but
there's nobody like that on the main roster creative team. They're all from Hollywood.
You know that from a fact, because I don't. I know Arn Anderson is back there. I know Dean Malenko is a talent agent back there. I know there's a bunch of wrestlers that are backstage in WWE that could be producing content for them. What's the guy's name? Crap. He was one of the Stooges.
I can't remember his name.
He came out gay.
Oh, Pat Patterson.
Pat Patterson was a wrestler that was on the writing staff. I mean, you do have wrestlers there. The guy that's reportedly in charge right now is the guy that I can't remember his name, but he was Kali's interpreter. Oh, something. Yeah.
Rajay Singh?
Rajay Singh, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. So you can't say that it's the writing team that is completely at fault for this, and that if you remove them and start over with just a writing team, that's going to make the product better, because you've got to go through the bottleneck, and right now that bottleneck is Vince McMahon.
At least Vince knows something about wrestling, though. We've heard about how Vince can be directed if you know how to handle him. And the current writing staff, they obviously don't know how to handle him. They're yes men for all intents and purposes. That's why you need somebody like Dusty Rhodes who can and has shown that he can direct things as pretty much as he sees fit. If he can do that with Triple H, I think he can manage something similar with Vince.
I don't know.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think Triple H is going to be a much easier person to be like, look, this is what we want to do. This is why we want to get there. Work with us. And he'll be like, you know what? I like it. Go with it. Like, go for it. With Vince has been in the driver's seat for so long that, damn it, I know what I want for my product, and no one's going to tell me otherwise. It's just...
Yeah, but how many times have we heard all of those stories about how if you speak to him with some semblance of authority, if you basically stand up to the man, he's going to treat you as an equal rather than somebody groveling at his feet.
Right, but he will also get completely distracted. You give him the best idea in the world, one that could make him mega millions, but he won't hear it because he sneezed. And then goes off into a long thought process on how he's pissed because he can't control when he sneezes or why he sneezes.
There's no question the man's batshit insane.
Right. And that's exactly why we're not going to see anything change.
Beanbags in the chat says there have been fired and resigned writers that came out and said lots of ideas don't ever get a chance. So the thing is that it doesn't matter who your writing staff is. If you make it completely impossible for them to do their job and them to better the product because you have to have that final say, I think that is telling you that Vince McMahon is the problem. Again, there's been hundreds of different writing staff, assuming that's my guesstimation. There's been 100 different writing staff that have been in WWE for the last 20 years. And it doesn't matter who you have in there as long as the person who is in charge, who is the manager of that, as long as he's not open to what those people have to say, it's never going to improve. That's why if Vince goes and Triple H is in there or someone else is in there, at least you get someone else in there that will be open to the ideas. It might not last forever, but it would make a significant impact.
I doubt it. Anybody that's been sitting at Vince's knee for the last 10 years is not going to be that different from Vince.
Okay. So never mind. We're going to go in circle. That's fine. Okay. So one of these ideas. Oh, I'm sorry. There's one more thing I want to bring from the live chat. Let me scroll through. Roberts posted, option F, change the product to TV 14. And change the rotation to make NXT as your major brand instead of Raw. What do you guys think about that idea?
No.
Nope.
I'm also a no.
NXT is your developmental system. And you can't replace Raw with that.
And NXT is still TV 14 or PG. It's still the same rating system as Raw. It's just a different way to tell stories, different writers, and different people in charge to let those writers do what they need to do.
And that show works as a 1 hour format as it stands.
Correct.
You cannot jump that to 3 hours and expect it to work.
And that's the other thing. If we get rid of Vince, Triple H wants Raw to go back to 2 hours. Instant improvement.
I might have to flate the man. I'm kidding, but really, we don't need 3 hour Raws. We really don't. All a pay-per-view is at this point is a Raw where they do more title defenses. That's all a pay-per-view is now compared to Raw. They are the same amount of time.
Yep.
Actually, they're less because Raw goes from 8 p.m. until like 9:10, 9:12.
As far as wrestling time?
I mean, I'm sorry, 11, 12, 10, 11, 12.
Okay. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah. So you got, it's a little over the 11 o'clock hour start, where a pay-per-view is 8 to like 10:50. So you actually get more content on Raw than you do if you were to pay for a pay-per-view.
Technically, you get an hour-long pre-show with some matches and segments.
That's true. Mostly segments nowadays.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Samoa Joe, we talked about this last week. Samoa Joe has left TNA. Since last week, he has signed on a few dates, I think 5 total, in ROH. So he's going to appear 5 times in ROH, did not sign a long-term deal. There was a lot of rumors on where Samoa Joe could end up, but the rumor right now is that Samoa Joe will be signed to NXT at the end of the month. Thoughts on that? Do you want to see, because I know we talked a little bit about this last week, but do you like the idea of Samoa Joe being in NXT?
I don't know. The option for option Samoa Joe in NXT, could it work? Yeah, there's a lot of great guys he could work with there, but with the gravitas that he brings, he's much more suited for. I think he's much more suited for main roster. You could stick him together with Reigns, the Usos. You could do that Samoan faction that people had talked about previously. I mean, I think you've got more options with him on the main roster, and he's a bigger name. It's not like freaking Rhino showing up in NXT. Like, that's... Am I wrong that's...
Absurd? Yes.
One, absurd, and that was his only showing for NXT?
Yeah, that was awful.
But are we getting more Kendrick? The Brian Kendrick?
He's on the roster.
Oh, he actually is on the roster now.
Yes.
See, that I like. I've always been a Brian Kendrick fan.
Yeah.
I think he's got a lot of skills that he can help the NXT guys develop. He can give a lot of those guys the insight. Plus, he can work with them and help build himself. Where it's not like Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe will come in, he can help the guys, but it's not going to help him build credibility. He's already got so much credibility from everything he's already done. I think he's much more suited for main roster.
Right. I don't know if I would say he's more suited for main roster, just because I like the idea of him going through the process that everyone else goes through. You know, I know that AJ Styles, assumedly, had the same opportunity and turned it down because he was above that. He felt like he was above NXT and would rather have gone to Japan or ROH and be like the top guy or one of the top guys. So Samoa Joe, though, on the other hand, I don't think has that same mentality. I think he could easily fit into NXT to start with, but I really enjoy the idea of Samoa Joe going through NXT, therefore going through guys like Owens and Neville and Kenta and, Atami, and also, just being with people that I think would work better with him, specifically Dusty Rhodes and Triple H. Triple H likes Samoa Joe. So for Triple H to be able to, to allow Samoa Joe to do what he needs to do to get over, I think that's a better scenario than moving him right up to the main roster where he would get lost right away. The same thing for Kevin Steen. If Kevin Steen went right up to the main roster, which a lot of people were expecting, or at least were saying that they wanted, I think he would have gotten lost. I think him going through this system and being presented in this fashion, I think has benefited Owens a whole lot more. So yeah, I'm totally for. I know Joe can fit well on the main roster, but knowing how main roster guys are treated, especially guys that we like and know can do well, I think NXT is the place. As a fan, I would rather him go.
If Samoa Joe does sign some sort of deal with the WWE, and that's a big if. First of all, there's no way he's going straight to the main roster. Nobody ever will again. Just they've made it eminently clear that if you're going to the WWE, you're going through the Performance Center. You're going through NXT. There's no way out of that. If Rhino's got to do it, everybody's got to do it. Samoa Joe in NXT, again, with Rhino going there, anything's possible. I can see it. I can see him having some great matches there. Tommy, Balor, Owens, Zayn, Neville, Tyler Breeze, a whole bunch of guys. He'd have amazing matches. But you brought up AJ Styles a little bit ago, and the whole status thing was only part of the issue. Compared to the few $100,000 he was making in TNA, I don't know how accurate the story is, but apparently they offered him $50,000 or $60,000 to sign the WWE deal. Which obviously that's a huge cut. I don't see Joe getting even as good a deal as that, considering he's not. He was never considered Mr. TNA like AJ was. Personally, I think it's not incredibly likely that he's going to the WWE. I think it's much more likely that he's going to go to Japan. Most likely, as the next member of the Bullet Club, I can see him going to maybe Wrestle One. Maybe he'll join Kibashi's promotion over there, since there's some history there. Overall, I just don't consider the WWE to be a likely destination.
Okay. A quick correction. Thank you, Beanbags, in the live chat. AJ said in his interviews, AJ Styles that is, that he was never called by NXT. So this theory that I have thrown around, and a lot of people thrown around, is inaccurate. He was never called by WWE. So he did not give up the opportunity to go through NXT like many, I think, assumed. So anyways, just want to throw that out. Thank you, Beanbags.
I'm just glad Beanbag's stuck.
Let's go with names. So fantasy booking, Samoa Joe goes into WWE. What's his new name?
I've liked Galapo Gus.
Papa New Gary.
I dig that. Jodis Clay, I think, was brought up by
Oh God.
Michael Kupak.
Yep. Jodis Clay.
Fiji Joe, thrown out in the live chat. I'm actually half expecting them to go with like more of a Joe Uso.
The Big Joe.
Samoan Festus.
So not keeping Samoa Joe. There's no way he keeps Samoa Joe, right?
No.
Which is a bummer because, I mean, it is perfect for him. It's not like it's not his name. Well, it's Joe, but I mean, it's the name he's used for ages. Yeah. He used that on WWE TV.
Correct.
Am I correct?
You're correct.
So, I mean, there's a history there on their own product. Then again, Michael McGillicuddy.
What about Samiza Joe, Miz's new assistant?
Oh God.
Samiza Joe?
Miz's new assistant.
Okay, that could work.
I don't know. Either way, if he does
Samoa Miz?
Yeah, if he comes to WWE, he's going to be renamed, and we're going to hate it regardless of what he's renamed at. But it'll probably work for us later on.
Umaga 2?
Umaga 2. I dig that.
Umaga Jr.
Yeah, I think I can't really remember another guy coming in from the Indies that kept his name outside of CM Punk. Oh, and the Hardys, but that was like in the 90s.
Yeah.
And the WWE couldn't pass up using Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
God damn it, guys! This is already set. There's already merchandise out there. The damn books.
Captain Joe Albano.
Little Haku.
Okay, that one I'd go with.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. But just like looking at the backlash that we got from Adrian Neville and
Johnny Chimpo,
Sami Zayn and Finn Balor, I think the backlash was short and people just grew into the names because they worked well. So,
yep.
Okay, cool.
Who was the guy who wrangled Umaga?
Wrangled?
What?
You talking
Yeah.
his manager?
Yeah. Wasn't that Singh?
No. That was the guy with the cigar. You think about it?
Oh, Armando Estrada.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Estrada.
Yeah, that's right. Same thing.
Okay. So WrestleMania 31 is coming up, obviously, at the end of March. It's going to take place on March 29th. We're going to be previewing it in full on FTW259. So here's the official card that we've got right now. We've got Wade Barrett versus R-Truth in a multi-man ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. So it's you can assume that Ambrose is going to be in there as well. Ziggler, Luke Harper. Some rumors that Daniel Bryan might find himself in that match as well. So overall, huge WWE Intercontinental Championship match if it does in fact take place. You've also got the second annual Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
There you go.
So far, Miz, Curtis Axel, Ryback, Fandango, Adam Rose, Zack Ryder, Jack Swagger, Titus O'Neil, and Darren Young have.
Are there more than one Zack Ryder?
Yes.
Zack Ryders.
For some reason,
There's multiple writers. You call them Right Eye?
Yeah, they're the Riders, the Rough Riders.
There you go.
Okay. Anyways, those are the names of the people that have entered in so far. John Cena also tried to insert himself into that match and got slapped down by Stephanie McMahon, which is awesome. Sting versus Triple H, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. What's going on with John Cena? Do you like this story so far that they've been pushing as far as maybe John Cena won't be competing at WrestleMania and how that is seemingly affecting him, his mood?
If they decided to actually not give him a match and like give him a talking segment where he's trying to get one against Rusev and Rusev just makes him look like a bitch, then I would applaud it. I would rather not see John Cena on the card and not see him appear at all. It's WrestleMania. John Cena will be there. John Cena will probably face Rusev. John Cena will probably win the U.S. Championship for no good reason. The only thing I can hope for with John Cena is that when the match does happen, even if they set it up at WrestleMania, like if it just goes that long and they make it like an impromptu match, I would love for Cena to just pass out in the Accolade.
You mean the Acolyte, right?
Damn. Well, I mean, whatever Cena wants to call it.
Yeah. Nick, what do you think about this whole thing? Do you think that they're I don't want to say the term, but do you think that they're making John Cena look more like a not as nice guy lately?
No, not really. Well, first of all, to piggyback on Joe's thought, if he does pass out in the Accolade again, I might have an aneurysm. But we've seen this before with Bray Wyatt, where he questions himself and his ethics and what he has to do in order to succeed and never give up. And he starts to go toward that dark place, and then at the 11th hour, he realizes the power is inside of him all along, and he hustles and loyalties and never gives up, and he wins.
Yeah.
It's a formula that the WWE will never deviate from. It's one that I won't say it's tired, because obviously people still get into it, but I could wish that maybe there could be a little variety other than Cena entering Terminator mode when he starts getting in that low monotone. So it's serious business.
Yeah. Blue Cacto in the live chat saying they're taking a talented up and coming top heel in Rusev and making him an afterthought by pushing the story entirely about Cena. It's not great. I am getting that feeling as well. Like while Rusev is seemingly now avoiding Cena, but rightfully so. I mean, if you look in the context of the story, it doesn't make sense for him to accept a match with John Cena at WrestleMania. But at the same time, like the story is focused in on Cena and how that loss at Fastlane, hurt him, as far as his image goes. And yeah, overall, he did look a lot more angry this week. So I don't know, man. The story is totally focused on Cena, but I don't know if the focus is off of Rusev. I think they're just telling this side of the story now. The side of the story before was all Rusev, right? Wasn't it? Mostly Rusev?
Well, the story previously was Rusev, it's going to take on all comers. He beat Cena. What else does he have to do? He's like, I'm done with you. Done.
Yeah.
Now Cena has to prove himself.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily see this as a bad thing that we're not seeing as much Rusev. I mean, we're still seeing Rusev on TV. He's getting more mic time than he's ever gotten before. But yeah, the main story, the main focus of the story is what can Cena do to prove his worth? He's been beaten down by Brock Lesnar. Now he's being beaten down by Rusev. They're calling him an old man. Generally, I think this is a story that we should be able to all get into, as anti-Cena fans.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting to watch the crowd just bounce around from polar opposite to polar opposite as they cheered Stephanie for teasing that Cena will be out of Mania, but then they boo Rusev because fuck yeah, America. And since it's Cena, they didn't know what to think.
Yeah. I do like the idea that Cena would be forced to not compete at WrestleMania because he isn't needed. I mean, Stephanie, what she said was completely accurate. He's not needed. There is no real value in having Cena main event WrestleMania anymore because of how they've told the story with Brock Lesnar, with how they're building Roman Reigns. And yeah, Rusev, like, this is like your third level title that Cena is now trying to go after, and failing at. So I don't know. I mean, like, I think we're losing focus on the story being told. Like, we want Cena off TV, but this is a compelling story. Just the fact that, like, that they are leaning in that direction. I mean, look at this was the complete opposite. Like a year and a half, 2 years ago, where Cena was on top of everything and winning all these matches and always on TV and always ruining every story that we had. But this is the complete opposite. This is Cena getting the short straw on just about everything, not being able to just enter in any match that he wants, having to get people's approval before he can fight for, whatever match that he chooses. So I think overall this is a nice way to, acknowledge the hate that anti-Cena fans have been given for so long. I think this is a cool way to go about it.
Wouldn't it be more compelling though if they hadn't already done this with Wyatt and with Lesnar, with Heyman trying to turn Cena to the dark side and Wyatt making Cena question himself? Isn't this just that again?
Yes and no. I mean, in principle, out of context, it is. It's another guy trying to get Cena to accept that some fans don't like him and to get angry. But this time we're actually seeing it. And this time it's not Cena as a top guy. This is Cena as, a glorified mid-carder. So it's a completely different scenario in that Cena is actually on the opposite side of it.
Yeah, there's something to be said for his position right now. Because, I mean, he got pissed when Heyman kept pushing and pushing and pushing. But, yeah, he was still a top guy then.
Yeah. Well, the fact that Brock Lesnar destroyed him, and the fact that now Rusev has effectively destroyed him, I mean, it does put Cena in a completely different situation. And it does almost make him a sympathetic character, because it's like, well, at least for the kids, now they're trying to pump Cena back up to be at the level that he was before. I think that's a lot more compelling than, oh, well, LOL, Cena's going to win, because he always wins. Now we know that they aren't always going to go in that direction, which is a nice change.
Sure.
Okay. Well, yeah, WrestleMania. Like I said, we've got some official matches right now. We were going to talk a bit about Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Also, there's a bunch of potential matches, a lot of rumored stuff, a lot of assumed matches. We're going to talk about WrestleMania a lot more in depth as we get closer. But if you guys join us over on FTW Fallout, I'm sure we'll continue the conversation over there. Let's go ahead and jump into win fail.
Women wrestlers aren't getting paid? Why do you do a job?
Here is your win.
You do any job,
and fail
is to fucking get paid!
Of the week. Joe, what's your win of the week?
My win of the week right now is actually going to be the Mizdow segment on Raw. Very entertaining. I laughed my ass off. I know it's childish that they their little commercial thing and Niagara.
Niagara, yep.
Why Sandow would then be doing a Niagara commercial in the first place is beyond me, but it's spun really well.
Yeah.
I for some reason it just hit me as like hilarious, even though most of the time I think segments like that are stupid. But yeah, for some reason I at that moment I happen to enjoy that segment a lot, so that's my win of the week.
Yeah, because at this point, it does feel like Sandow did set him up, which is nice. It's nice that they're at least implying that Sandow is trying to get over, away from Miz's shadow and going to move to that next step. So yeah, I'm totally with you. Nick, your win of the week?
I'm completely on board with that win. Just the list of side effects that got rattled off. Side effects of Niagara may include being a jabroni, falling off the A-list. It was pretty much perfect. I think my main win, though, covered it some on Fans Talk TNA, it's got to be the way we saw the British boot camp guys being highlighted. And specifically, that was Grado, Noam Dar, and Rampage Brown. Yeah, they didn't get a lot of time, but I enjoy the fact that they at least got a spot on national TV. And even just that little blurb, we saw a little bit of character from Noam Dar and Grado. And Bram looked exceptional as well. So, yeah, props to those guys. I hope we're going to be seeing a lot more of them moving forward.
All right, some wins from the live chat. We've got the evolution of King Cuerno over in Lucha Underground. Also got wins from for TNA this week. Cena being read the reality of his position in relation to the fans. Quote, WrestleMania will still go on and be the biggest show without you in it. So yeah, I definitely like the tone that they're taking this story. My win of the week is actually going to go with Roman Reigns. I thought Roman Reigns this week was levels and levels above where he was before. You know, he had that awesome match against Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. Now this match against Seth Rollins, I thought was really, really, really well done. They are, to me, building Roman Reigns to be that credible contender against Brock Lesnar, and I'm into it now. I'm really into it now. I was very doubtful of Roman Reigns, just like everyone else, but he's winning me over now. Fails of the week, Joe.
One of my fails of the week is going to have to be the live chat hooligans. Only 7 hearts, guys. 7, not even a double digit. And don't try to make it up now. You failed me. Just because we know we use those hearts to get higher up in Mixler rankings, we get shown on the front page if we have more hearts. Other than that, I'm going to have to say Jon Stewart.
Boo.
I am not a Jon Stewart fan, so that weighs in on it. I don't find him funny. And I think the entire Rollins doing the bit was just stupid.
Forced. It was forced for sure, but out of all of the celebrities that we've had in WWE, Jon Stewart was probably the best one. He knew what was going on, who everyone was, what their story was. That didn't help him at all for you?
No. I mean, if I'm going to put him on a scale with other celebrities that have been in the WWE, I'm going to put him right next to Seth Green and Kevin Federline.
I can't agree with you, man. I think it just...
At least those guys actually took some blows. Seth Green was in a match. K-Fed was in a match.
Well, you're talking about guys in their 20s and 30s versus a guy at however old Jon Stewart is, but he's got...
Pete Rose has taken how many tombstones?
He's baseball player. Former baseball player.
Pete Rose is a professional athlete.
Have you seen him recently? He is no athlete now.
Oh, man.
Hey, come on. The WWE Hall of Fame's the only fame he's allowed in. That's for Kevin. And I know he's going to eventually hear it.
Yeah. Fails from you, Nick.
I got 2 fails. One of them is me forgetting the auxiliary win, and then forgetting it again because I can't believe Jon Stewart is a fail. God damn it. Yeah, Garvin, come back to me. I'm going to get it.
So just to clarify, I said that the segment between Jon Stewart and Seth Rollins felt forced. It was not on the Jon Stewart side. It was definitely the Seth Rollins side. I'm not into Seth Rollins having that much mic time in that kind of capacity. I like him doing promos, but not playing a character, not playing an act. It just didn't feel right with him. Some other fails from the live chat. We've got that the crowd still chants CM Punk. Next week's guest host being Wiz Khalifa. Instant fail.
Oh, maybe we'll get Cena to rap together. Seeing him to rap together.
Oh, good God.
Because when they pushed that album that had come out, all you had was one line of Cena going, "I can't believe they put me together with Wiz Khalifa," and that was it. That's the only bit you ever heard. And I'm like, oh, good, and just a name drop, and then we're done. Got it.
Yeah. My fail of the week, I think, is overall just going to go to. I don't know. I really don't have a fail this week. Just looking over the results, looking over the questions that we went over today, nothing really stood out as like a major fail for me. I liked TNA. I liked Raw this week. I thought Raw was overall solid, start to finish. So, Nick, are you ready for your fail?
Yes, my first fail is forgetting my auxiliary win twice. That pretty much everything R-Truth was doing with the IC title belt, and the fact that JBL played into that so well, just completely ignoring him and refusing to acknowledge his existence when Harper was standing behind them.
Yeah, that
was gold. So congratulations, JBL, for finally contributing to Raw. My other fail is, God, DeBella's acting is just awful. It was especially terrible in that title match. I if you're going to have them be the faces of Total Divas, at least get them some acting classes. I will defend their improvements as wrestlers to the death, but please keep them away from mics.
Okay. We did not talk TNA tonight. You can hear that conversation at fanstalktna.com. It'll be released a little bit later on this week. Normally we release that on Thursday. I think the release schedule may change, so just keep your eye on Fans Talk TNA. Also Lucha Underground, fanstalklucha.com. That has your full archive. This week's episode won't be released on Friday. It's going to be pushed back onto Saturday because Friday night I'm going to the NXT live show in Cleveland. So NXT came to Cleveland, which is amazing, and yeah, I'm gonna go. So it's gonna be fun. So I'll be doing that instead of recording and talking Lucha Underground with the wife. Any final thoughts?
No.
Yet.
Okay. Also, I just wanted to say, I really want to watch Stone Age SmackDown, the new WWE and Flintstones mashup that they put together. I think that looks really awesome. I did hear some good, some rather good reviews from Robert and his brother Ishmael. Also from my nephews, they were both into it. So I definitely want to check it out. We did add that to a Patreon milestone. So if we can go from where we are right now, which I think is about $62 a month, if we can raise that up, to $75, then we're going to, release a live commentary track along with, that movie. So definitely, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not sure who all is going to be a part of it. And maybe Joe and I will get together and maybe I'll drive.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
I think that,
or I'll come down to you, one of the two.
Yeah. So
if nothing else, you can pipe in my hate for what they've done to Barney.
Definitely do that. It should be really, entertaining. So, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are too. You just need to help us push past this next milestone. And don't forget, again, to help us push past that next milestone, you can become a paid member of the FTW community by going to fanstalkwrestling.com and clicking the big green button. We're bringing to you 4 episodes a week now with Fans Talk Lucha, Fans Talk TNA, Fans Talk Total Divas, and this series right here, the Fans Talk Wrestling Podcast. Plus weekly bonus content like FTW Fallout and TNA, Fans Talk TNA Unlocked. Last week, we released about 40 additional minutes of bonus content, and it's all because of you guys. You guys have become, you've become an investor to this podcast. You've become a friend, and overall, you keep this ring in tip-top shape no matter how many times Joe jumps off the top rope or I make Nick bleed by biting his forehead and ripping off his skin with my teeth. You get shit done, guys, so we thank you. Nick, Joe, and I are going to be hopping over to FTW Fallout. So again, FTW community members, look forward to that conversation. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening through iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, or however you listen. If you listen through a service that lets you leave ratings and reviews, please give us all the hearts, especially here on Mixlr, and let people know that we should be added to their podcast queue. Thank you for listening. Send us your feedback and continue the conversation with us on all the things. We will see you next Tuesday. See you guys.
Is it just me, or did Randy Orton say that he wanted into the Andre the Giant, the armbar?
I don't remember hearing that.
I would have sworn I did, but I can't find anything backing that up.
On Raw?
I think so.
I mean, if it happened on SmackDown, it didn't actually happen.
That's true.
No, that shit counts again.
Since when?
Since I started setting up hashtag give truth a chance, hashtag throw truth a bone, hashtag our truth is in the IC title match.
Hashtag our truth is JTG.
I will say I do enjoy, like, now that we've
Actually,
gotten past...
hashtag is our truth is Devon.
Oh yeah, he is.
Now that we've gotten past the point when, there was like that confusion level, like why the hell is R-Truth out here? Because no one watches SmackDown except for you, Nick, I guess. But yeah, overall, like once we've gotten past that point, I love what they're doing with the IC title right now. Like it feels like almost like the hardcore championship, the 24 hours or the 24/7 rule. That's how this feels like, where someone else is leaving with a title every night.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like people actually want that belt for once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I'm
definitely,
excited for that.
It's definitely adding a nice flavor to it. And it's making it a lot more interesting because it's not just one guy going after the title. It's 4 guys going after the title. I think the missed opportunity